Now, we've had a really interesting first weekend of the Rugby World Cup up in England. The Black Ferns took in probably not their top team, and they managed to pick up a 54-8 victory over Spain. Jip, it felt like it could have been a lot more than that, though.
Yeah, look, it just felt like the first game, really.
Yeah.
You know, like there was just a little bit of clunkiness around it, but there was still moments and performance of brilliance. And sometimes in these games, when you're expected to score a lot of points, because you feel that you can push passes or overplay your hand a little bit, but, you know, again, like obviously Jorja Miller, extremely strong in those wide channels, and you know she's going to have a say in dictating how deep, I suppose, the Black Ferns go in this competition. Like that was, you know, whether it's Spain or England, I think she can still do the same sort of inability to score the unscorable.
Yeah.
You know, that first try.
The changes of
There was like change of directions, fens, balls changing hands, and just glides through 5 or 6 defenders. It was like there was probably 5 people able to tackle her, but didn't really get near her.
Yeah, and sensational really, Brenna. 11 defenders beaten, 2 tries. There were some other outstanding performances there. I think if you look at the loose forwards, the way that Sae and also Michaeli too were able to get over the advantage line, that's the blueprint, isn't it?
It was incredible. Like if you look at the Leila Sae's stats, 203 metres, 17 carries and 11 tackles and 2 turnovers. Like she was absolutely immense. Like, and I know it's against Spain, but that collectively, that loose forward trio were like unbelievably outstanding. And I actually thought Jip as well. The bench I thought really came on and played really, really well with the likes of Kelowna Valley, Olsen Baker. Hopefully she's not injured. She looked like she got a serious injury, which will be a big blow for the Black Ferns. Veliko and Bayfield as well. I think they really came on in that second half, especially in the first 20 minutes of that second half, bringing the impact and being able to, I guess, out-muscle that Spanish side. So look, I think you look at the attacking stats, it was massive against of what they were. Like, you know, they had like 1,771 metres, 71% gain line. But look, I think it was against a Spanish team, so I think they'll be better for that first game, being able to get the cobwebs out. It's the first game of the year in terms of that competition. So I think they will get better, but I think the turnovers, again, is probably something that we have touched on a lot with this Black Ferns team. They had 19 turnovers on the weekend, and especially probably looking at that first 10 minutes, there were quite a lot. And you put that down to nerves and I guess the clunkiness of being the first game of the season. But look, if you look at it on the attacking side and the bench that came on and the loose forward trio that you touched on, Ross, there were some really good positives for that Black Ferns team.
Yeah, I think a lot of the turnovers came off the back of how quick the ball was. And I think if they're going to dominate that much in the collision, which I don't see that changing, whether it's Spain or England or France, it's how they can play the next few phases up tempo, because, you know, 75, 76% lightning quick ball, being able to keep that speed and ball up mentality and be able to go through the hands and keep it simple could be more beneficial. Like I felt at times we slowed our own ball down, like we'd done the dent, but then didn't play flat and fast. Almost brought the ball back and we went through a move or a prescribed setup. And I think if they can react off the back of those loose forward trio doing the business physically and really be able to inject themselves in the game, I think, you know, Woodman Whitcliffe, you know, thinking Setafano, Fuller, and I know I'm naming the Sevens players, but it's their instinct. And to be able to sort of just, you know, Maya Joseph wasn't there, but I think she'll be able to get that ball up and play. And if they can play on top of teams like that after denting them, I think you'll see a much more clinical performance and a lot less errors.
61 defenders beaten, though. 61 defenders beaten. I mean, for a team to win by 54-8 and concede 22 turnovers or 19 turnovers, whatever which one it was, it's almost obscene. Teams that lose by a long way when they concede that many.
But I think when you've got so much ball, all these stats, you've got to take it tells part of the picture, but not the whole picture. So I think all of those are relative to the amount of ball they had. But I felt like a lot of the errors came off the back of not being able to deal with that tempo.
Yeah. Now, Jorja Miller was one highlight. The other highlight player from the weekend, Brendan, is one of your favourites, Ellie Kildunne. just sensational against the USA.
She's like one of my favourite players to watch with how she plays. So like, I think it's going to be interesting, I guess, for them to be able to continue the way that they are going, how they have started. Look, I think, you can't underestimate, I guess, what the draw is, and I guess being able to build confidence with both for all teams, I guess, but also for England as well, with being able to, I guess, build that cohesion and being able to play some football for when the back end of the competition does come. Are they able to execute under those kind of pressure? So, like, I think for both England, New Zealand, even France, and the teams that are probably going to be there or thereabouts in the semi-final, just being able to go through their business, have some trends that they want to be able to get right throughout the competition. And then when it does come to that back end, hopefully they've had enough time together. I think England are actually just pretty good in general. So I think they'll be okay, but I'm thinking more so for the New Zealand side. Coming that back end of the tournament, hopefully they're having all fire something and have been able to play at a better brand of footy than they probably did on the weekend.
The thing I love about Kildunne is there's all her metrics and her highlights, but how often she touches the ball 2 or 3 times in a play. Like her ability to stay engaged or connected, her ability to read defence, to free up the outside, unselfishly, but then to push through the defence, to get a second touch, to then link. I just think, man, she's just never off. For young players out there in that role of knowing when to do something, and she just does that so well. When she knows it's on for her, makes a good decision, but then when it's not, or if there's an opportunity she sees, it's just her ability to sort of free up others and make others look good is probably what I think is most impressive about her. Like, obviously all her highlight stuff's great, but man, she does a lot of things that probably don't make the highlight reel that are just as impactful.
She has a lot of time.
Yeah, the best players do.
Yeah, the best players have time. She's got a lot of time.
Yeah. And I think that's that depth perception, knowing how to draw defenders out. That there's a ultimate skill set. And if you look at the history of our game, the best players, it's a silly thing to say, it does look like they have time, but they create time through their foot speed, where they sort of line up, where they inject themselves, and it's second nature to her.
The other place where I thought England stood out in comparison to watching all of the other teams, Brynna, was their willingness to play without the ball.
Like, I think at the same time they attack, really got 11 tries from 16 entries, but their ability to be able to kick from multiple players is a big thing. We touched on it a lot with the Black Ferns and being able to use a kicking game to play without the ball to build pressure. But look, they've got a lot of players. Harrison, Megan Jones, and Kildunne as well. They can all kick. You know what I mean? So I think when you've got that efficiency, being able to be inside the 22, they play very, very good in terms of set piece wise, the brute force, but their kicking game, I think, has been a big difference of why they've been so successful over the years, and probably post their World Cup, because it's a big part of that Six Nations brand, being able to play without the ball. So yeah, it's a positive that they do, and when hopefully if the Black Ferns do get through, it's something they'll have to deal with. But yeah, it's definitely a trait that has probably set England apart, and probably one of the biggest differences why they do so well.
They don't kick off 9 though, which is interesting. They tend to kick off 10, 13, 15. So it hasn't, the box kick element, that contestable thing's not really there. They'd rather go long.
Yeah, I think that's the nature of the beast, is that defensive pressure is, in the female game, is definitely about boxing sides in, because if you think about it tactically, every team is possession-based pretty much, except for England, maybe France. And because of that, if you kick it long into their 22, you're almost saying, hey, we back our D, are you going to make a mistake in your territory? Because we know you can't get out with a boot. And that's how they suffocate teams.
Yeah. Oh, it's been great to watch them in this first round, and we'll see how it all comes up in the rounds to come.